Is your rod dull and boring? Too many tools in your toolbox? Tired of always being tangled in extension cords? Unsure of how to use these bulky tools? Well, now there's Shine Juice. Join Dan from DD Speed Shop as he shares this exciting new product from Vice Grip Garage.
Like you, I too used to struggle with too many extension cords and heavy polishers, and how do you even use those things? Well, there's a new product on the market, and I've got world famous automotive YouTuber, buffer extraordinaire, DD Speed Shop to tell us all about it.
Hi, Danny.
Hi, Dan.
I'm Dan from DD Speed Shop, and I'm here to talk about Vice Grip's Garage, brand new patented Shine Juice.
It's very intense. Wow, tell me more.
Well, Danny, glad you asked. This patina protecting, paint popping detailer is a wipe-on, wipe-off product that dries to a nice satin matte finish. It's been Derek's go-to for over a decade.
For over a decade?
Yes, over a decade.
Amazing. How does it work?
Well, I'm glad you asked yet again. Shine Juice is a simple wipe-on, wipe-off product, and in the package comes with all the rags, not t-shirts, you need to apply it. It will protect your paint and encapsulate rust to keep a nice, even finish. You simply put a little bit of juice on the rag, wipe it on, and look at that glow. Wow. Are you seeing this? It is completely changing the look of this automobile.
And no heavy buffer, no extension cords?
No, it's a wipe-on, wipe-off process.
And the smell is incredible. I wish you guys could smell what we're smelling.
It is good. Shine Juice is a simple wipe-on application that provides beauty and depth to all patina surfaces. It seals surface rust and helps prevent further deterioration. Not to mention, it's easy to apply, and look at this difference. Oh my God. Before and after, who wouldn't want a car looking like this? I'd like to personally thank Derek from Vice Grip Garage for making Shine Juice available for the rest of us. It is available at vicegripgarage.com, and if you'd like to see this entire vehicle get Shine Juiced up, stay tuned after the ad. We'll shine her. Well, what's going on, guys? Dan here, DD Speed Shop. Man, that last guy was embarrassing. Could you imagine the woman that has hitched her wagon to that guy? What a loser. Anyways, now we're back in the shop with us cool guys. So obviously, we're going to work on this 56 Chevy wagon. Now, it has been kind of working on other things. My timeline with videos is a little goofy. Parts shortages has been a nightmare. Anyway, this thing we put outside, we ran out of stuff. I believe inside I have all the means to make the back brakes work. I don't know if we'll do that or not today. I have a shifter cable, which we need because I melted the other one. And most importantly, drive shaft. My buddy Ryan hooked me up there. So we got that dialed together. Now, I'm sure you guys are the same as me. When you're working on something, you get kind of beat up, you get frustrated. It's just like when you're waiting on parts, stuff costs more than it should. You kind of get tired of looking at the car. Well, I'm no different. I hate hot rods. I'm just addicted to them. I can't kick the habit, man. But what I want to do is we want to shine this thing up. So I made a joke of it, but old Derek there, he got this fancy new product, Shine Juice. And for many, many years, I have used oiled linseed oil. And it's done the trick, but it's sticky, it's stinky, it's all sorts of things. And I've only used just a super small amount of this Shine Juice, but I gotta say, so far, it's pretty good. So we're gonna go ahead and shine up this whole hot rod front to back. Because you know what, when the car looks clean and shiny, you're motivated to work on it. Now, I've been treating this thing as a bit of a storage unit. So we're gonna go ahead, clean all that junk. Oh, actually I need ATF, I wonder if that's what's in there. I need to clean it all out, make it look nice. Then I'll be motivated to kind of work on it. So today, we're gonna go through, we're gonna shine her up, clean all the junk out, slam in that drive shaft. Now if it's the wrong size, I gave the measurements, so on me. Hopefully we're gonna do shifter cable on this thing, and then at that point, it should be movable, front and back. I do have to get ATF, like I said. So, let's get set up, and we'll shine this thing. I have gone over the whole car. I Windexed it, just get all the junk off of it. About 2 years ago, maybe, we did polish this thing, but that was just to literally get the crud off of it. This had been sitting under a tree for who knows how long. Now, the claim to fame of these products, they're oil-based stuff, so it should prevent rust, bring out the shine and all that. Now, when I use the boiled linseed oil, what I think is used for like wood, I guess maybe wood's supposed to absorb it or something like that, the tacky, gross feeling left over is ridiculous. Now, obviously, this is what I've done this morning when our pretty, like our slap chop infomercial. But this is, like, see how it doesn't drag over? That's really nice. It actually does really smell good. I wasn't even BSing earlier. So we're gonna get set up. We're gonna do a little section with the oil, the linseed oil, a little section with the shine juice, man. And we'll see what we like best. I think I know where I'm going. Okay, so earlier we were rushing, eh? It's all about production, man. Danielle is a slave driver. So, we're gonna go ahead and use some of the shine juice on this side of the tape. Now, I will say, this stuff it's nice and thin, which is kind of good. The stuff I used before is typically a little on the thicker side. Now, I'm sure, I don't know what's in there, and I know you can thin this stuff out, but this stuff really, it goes on, and you can kind of just rub it in, and that's kind of the end of it. When you use the boiled linseed oil, I find, is though you got to put it on, and then you got to kind of wipe off. This is literally drying in front of your eyes, which is quite nice. Look at that. It does work good. Now, this stuff don't smell as good. And I find when you put it on, it leaves a real, see, it's not really evaporating or nothing like that. The other stuff really did. This leaves a film behind. Well, you know what? I'll just show you here. Maybe you can see it a little better. Side by side. Oh yeah, it's clearly shiny on the backside. Okay, so as you can clearly see, we're much shinier on the back. Now, I guess maybe that's the look you're going for, but this is still wet, and it doesn't matter how much you kind of rub it in. It stays, it's got a film the whole way across it. Sorry. So that attracts all sorts of goo and clad. And it's just not really the greatest. So what I always do is I put it on, and then I'll end up wiping it off, and then it's a fine line of how much you kind of take off. Now, I have seen Derek in some of his videos. He'll use stuff like this, and he'll thin it out and put in like WD-40 and all sorts of things like that. And maybe that's the science to it, which I just never took it that far. And well, I guess that's what his product is. It's kind of perfectly formulated, so you know what's going on. So this stuff, I gotta say, a little goes a long way. It gives it a real nice shine, and it's obviously going to be oil protected, so it'll reduce any sort of rust you have. Now, this hot rod, like, that'd be bare metal. All down here, same thing, rust, bare metal. The problem with Patina, it looks real cool, and this car does look cool. But I tell you what, if I could find a picture, maybe I'll put it in there. When I first got this car, I haven't driven it. It was sitting out in a field, and it's been sitting, well, outside, because in a field. I rescued it and put it in a field. It's gotten worse over time just from sitting outside. Every time you wash it and do whatever, you're losing more and more paint. And it becomes a fine line between cool patina and beat up junk. And being up north where we have snow and winter and salt and all those things, it's not quite like Arizona where the patina just stays forever, it gets faded and you can bring it back. Patina here turns into chunks of rust that literally fall off this thing. So an oil-based product should help it out. So let's start wiping her down. Okay, so let's get started. Now, I'm sure you guys see on camera, I tried wiping out the back of the hood, but it still has like too much shine. Now, I guess it all depends what you're trying to accomplish here. I don't like much shine. I like things very matte, mostly because it hides my bodywork. The part I'm most concerned about this car, and I'm sure this list is supposed to last, you know, a while, a couple of coats a year or something like that, but so it obviously does wear off, is the tops of the fenders and stuff. I love how these look, but this is absolutely bare, crusty metal. That's where someone had mirrors, I guess, on it at some point. And you can see there's rust coming through the paint and all sorts of stuff. I'd really prefer just kind of keeping it. Oh, this is all bare metal there. That's not, it looks cool, but it really doesn't suit what we got going on. I'm sure it's all the rust we're kind of wiping off there. So, it'll protect it. As It's basically like having a, you know, leaky rear main seal. Keeps floorboards in good shape, right? Oh yeah. Oh, so there's dull, and then there's this kind of this level of dull, which I really prefer. Wow. Now again, like this old lacquer paint, it's such a nightmare. You can buff it up and it looks really nice, and then you put it out in the sun, and it just looks like absolute garbage. So you gotta wax it and maintain it. And here's the other part about old paint, which I'm sure a lot of you guys know. It's thin. Like, it's not like new stuff where you can cut and buff it. You only got 1 or 2 tries. So every time we polish this thing, I mean, my old man would come over. He likes polishing. He's a bit of a weirdo. But he'd polish this thing up, and slowly but surely, you're taking the paint off. So if you really like the look of your hot rod, especially if it's patina stuff, man, and you want to polish it up, I'm sure the effect would be very similar with the polishing, but you're literally removing material, even with some very light grit, compound, and pads. Well, Derek, I think you got a pretty good product, buddy. Let's fast motion this. Camera 1, camera 2, camera 1, camera 2, camera 2, camera 2, camera 1. Man, that stuff went on easy. It's much thinner. I enjoy it. Let's get the other side dialed. Okay, nice thing with these wipe-on products, man, someone should clean up in here. Craft services is terrible and everything. Ooh. So, this thing, when it was sitting, it had a bunch of trees on it before I got it, and the whole top was covered like a sap and all sorts of gross stuff. We tried getting it all off. And as we were getting it off, as you can see, probably in the camera there, this is where the roof was actually pretty much all this green color. And the more we started trying to take off to clean it, the more you go down into this red oxide primer. The other thing you run into, and especially in kind of more older stuff, maybe the more modern isn't as big of a deal, but the windows, they're like inset in the car, and you have this 1/2-inch little lip the whole way around. Here's the other thing. This old glass, which is I'm sure original to the car, is in the original rubbers. This rubber, she ain't too pliable. And if you catch an edge with the buffer, it'll rip right out of there. Would you like to know how I know? So when you just kind of shine up in there with the rag, it's very nice, especially in between stainless and all that, around the drip rail. Anyway, I'm excited to see how the roof's going to come out. There is some big whammos in this roof, and it's like the whole thing is so flexy. It's hard to even polish it because you end up, ouch, that was hard. You end up just kind of forcing it down, screwing around, doing all that, which we're trying to avoid all that. Now, actually, I think up here there was a bit of a dent, a small one, and so we just kind of pushed it out. Man, this stuff sure does bring back the color. I'm not a fan of green. Half my life is green, it seems like. But this sure brings it out. And I saved the hood for last because I got that hood for free from my buddy Josh. I don't know where the hell he got it. Maybe he paid for it and just gave it to me because he's such a nice guy. But I believe the green, it's a 56 hood, and I think it's the same as this bottom green. And it looked kind of junky and all that. but I kind of accepted it. It was what it was. When it's the only hood you got, that's the hood that works. But I'm thinking it'll almost look kind of cool. It'll be two-tone, but the hood is the bottom tone. So let's get this roof all dialed together. The front is actually completely mangled. Maybe we'll just skip up there real quick and then we'll fast motion the whole thing. Yeah, two birds stoned at once, eh, buddy? So the front, you can see, this is all bare metal. It's rough. There's not a lot we're gonna do here. So we've, in my mind, hey, I like patina. This is on the far end of patina. A lot of people have commenting, telling me that the 15 minutes of patina and whatnot has come and gone. Well, I'll put Derek's email in the comments there. You can tell him that. Well, that sure doesn't look on camera. Well, that really changes it up. It just making the green nice and shiny, or whatever this is, kind of draws your eye away from the rust. Oh yeah. All right, I'm talking to myself too much. Let's finish polishing this in. So we got the roof all dialed. Now, this car is shiny. I understand that. It's going to dry. Now, let me show you here. So we started off on the hood. You can see the front of the hood. It's like a nice dry, matte finish. Obviously, that's what we started off with. Now, if you go to the back, this is where we use the linseed oil. And you see how patchy it is? It doesn't dry evenly. It looks kind of gucky. And that's why I always end up now screwing around and beating it up or leaving it out in the weather to hopefully achieve that level of finish. That is pretty sweet. At the front here, it definitely did take a little bit more product, and I put it on a little thicker, but it's so junky. I think that'd be the reason why. I did not film the back. We have a bit of a space issue here, and a husky gentleman, what can I say? Anyway, we got this back all dialed. Now this is what I'm talking about. See this window? How are you gonna polish in there? You're gonna mangle it. Now, hey, if money's no object and you want to take the glass out and do all those things, by all means. But I don't think you're going to do that to a car that has this. This was completely ripped out and I welded it back on. Didn't even grind it by the looks of it. So we need a deck or a tailgate on this thing. And what are you going to do up behind the bumpers and all that? This wipe on polish is just fantastic for it. So let's dial the front together. Then we have to go out and get diesel fuel for the heater. And then while we do that, this will all dry up, look all nice. I'm going to brake clean this real quick and start fresh because I dislike it. All right, well, let's use the automotive eraser. Use it like someone else is paying for it. Now, I bet you're all wondering to yourself, why is Dan helping out a small channel like Vice Grip Garage with this new product, right? I mean, what a nice guy I am. But in all seriousness, last year on Power Tour, we ended up cruising with Derek for a day, and Jessica and the whole family there. And we don't have Arby's, of all things, in Canada. Well, in Manitoba. Crappy Manitoba. And so we said that one time. The guy found us an Arby's. So, you got to pay a guy back for finding you a roast beef sandwich in the South, or wherever that is. Now, what do you think of this green to the side? Originally, I wasn't really for it. I didn't really want to paint it because, where am I putting this so it's spilling it? What am I going to do? Paint this a nice color like that? And then try and patina match it and all that? What kind of idiot would do that? But I think we're just going to roll with it. This hood having no... have not been touched whatsoever. This wasn't polished or cleaned or anything. I might have hit it with a hose. I had to weld new bolts in, or nuts in for the bolts to attach to because they're all stripped out for the hinges. so it does absorb it faster and a little more. And the nice stuff, it doesn't leave any streaks. I gotta say, that's my favorite part. Now, oh, the front. Let's do the front. Man, I'm being just so gentle with the camera. This, you guys need this. So this is all, again, beat up stone chips from, 1962. By 2023, have turned into full-blown rust. So there we go. We're gonna let this do its thing and just kind of dry to a nice finish. And I'll be back in probably an hour once we get some supplies. Slam a drive shaft this thing. We got to get some ATF or double check I have some. And maybe, just maybe, it'll move under its own power. What a concept. A car that drives. There we have it. So I gave her a quick wipe down. It looks good to me. So I brought out some parts. This is what I had to get from Rock Auto. Star wheel. And I think that's e-brake lever. I don't know. And I have a new transmission shift cable and drive shaft. So at the very least, let's get this thing up. Let's see what we need under there and what we got going on. I don't know if we'll get the brakes done or not today. So I do want to get this video out. But, well, we have all night, I guess. Let's push it ahead, jack it up. Well, about 15 seconds into having this thing jacked up, I started remembering things as I was looking at it. This thing has no rear brakes. It has no brake. Rubber brake line, hard brake line, wheel seal, like the whole, there's nothing. There's nothing there. I have to make an emergency brake work. So to do the brakes, it's probably another video. I also forgot, this rear end I have welded on the perches, tack welded in. It's not permanent. So we gotta do that. And we still gotta do the transmission cable and stuff. So I think what we're gonna do instead is we'll go ahead and make the transmission shift. We'll put the drive shaft in, make sure it's the right length, make sure the angle looks all good, because we did all that kind of on the fly. And then weld the diff in properly and see if this thing runs and drives. Still has front brakes. And looks like I was saving money on lug nuts too. Don't do that. That's not good for anybody. So let's slip that drive shaft in. Hopefully my luck's turning around. I love the way my brain works. Like, I think I gotta remember there's not one piece of the brakes there. I was like, oh, we'll jam that together in 15 minutes. Not the case. I brought the welder out, brought it from the other garage. It's always a fun time. I did get the old shifter cable out. This took way longer than it should have. So I got like a universal one, which wasn't quite the right one, because honestly, it's a TCI shifter. By the time you bought a TCI cable, I might as well bought a TCI shifter because it's so freaking expensive. So I bought a universal one. Anyways, you cut it out. Now the reason I took it out, it's got all these burns. There are some bad ones, but this was really stiff and it's a pain in the ass. The problem was this one has a bigger hole here, so I had to screw around with that. And this section here was a little different. It's actually beefier on the new one, and it was a bit bigger of a cable, so just everything was kind of tight, but we have it all together, so that's taken care of. Underneath, everything's just kind of hanging for the cable, but a couple of zip ties goes a long way. I'll show you this drive shaft. Ooh, nicely in there, no problems. See the shifter cable's hanging down a little bit. The yoke, it's pretty good. It's out just a little bit, which is what I wanted, because this yoke's actually kind of worn. So there was a ridge right at the marks. We went back like a 1/4 inch. I'm happy with it. We have lots of clearance around those muffs, so we got no issues there. So up next, we got to weld in the axles properly. So I don't know if I should take the... Yeah, I'll probably drop those bottom clamps off. But we'll get set up and then we'll start doing some welding. Rusty. That's brand new. Brand new. So I figured I'd show you exactly what we did, and then we'll just time lapse the rest of it. So I obviously changed the jack stands to the frame, undid half the U-bolts, well, all the U-bolts on this side, half on the rear end, put the floor jack under it, lift up so we can get to it. I then buzzed her in on both sides. I also noticed we have a fuel leak as I was welding, so fix that. And man, these are some nice welds. They're like chrome, they're so good. So now drop this down, U-bolt, shock on, and then reverso bizarro, do one more side, and we're done. Man, this thing is really nice underneath, and I was gonna say beat on the top, but she's shiny and beat. Yeah, so like rebuilt rear end, all new brakes, drive line, transmission's got 0 miles on it with an LS. When we break down on power tour, be a good time. Let's get the other side dialed and fire this thing up. I'd really like to do a burnout, but I don't think we probably should since there's no brakes. The guy with the rear end also specifically told me, put 500 miles on it before we do a burnout. I think that means he will only warranty it if it breaks. So, I mean, if I just, avoid the warranty, then I can do whatever the hell I want, right? So, I think we might do that maybe next video. That sounds like a good time. So, we got this thing all, I'll try to see, it's all welded and somewhat torqued. I gotta double check that, but I also have to tighten these, and I'll do all that once we have the weight on the ground. But for now, it's enough. We can test the transmission. Oh, what do you think of this fine surface?
It looks really good, actually. It looks like the paint is protected, patina protected, rust safe and sound, but shiny.
Hashtag not sponsored. But, so I'm gonna put the wheels on, and then we drop it down. Everything underneath should be good. I'll probably have to double check the transmission level, because I have not done that, so guaranteed it's low on transmission oil. And then we can start it, drive it back and forth, call the wind, and then tomorrow I'll start the new video. We'll put the brakes on proper, get the suspension dialed, go through everything, and maybe we can use some shine juice as burnout lubricant. Maybe it's good for that too. See what kind of smoke it makes.
Very smooth, and the color does pop quite nicely. It also smells really nice. I would just like to say that because I'm very sensitive to scents.
Okay, like I built the car, not Derek here, but
I'm just saying, like it's a product I appreciate.
He's in the south. I don't know if sister wives are a thing, but you can try. Let's drop this thing down. Just like that. We're back down the ground. We have 3 lug nuts, a couple of chromies. I forgot I got a little rammy with this thing with the Bobcat. Someone will have to fix that. So this thing, in theory, is ready to go. I put in some transmission oil. I put in a couple liters, 2-3 quarts, just until there was something on the stick. I realized, check it while it's running, but we're in the ballpark. We got a battery in it. Let's hope we have some gas in it, and the brakes should work. Make sure we're in park. Yeah, we're in park. Oh, where's my shifter knob? It's hard to be cool without a cool shifter knob. Oh, she's gone. Okay, let's start this thing. Fuel pump check. Holly check. Running check. Check that transmission level, check. Gentle. At the very bottom of the stick. We'll see if she'll go into gear. It might need another quart. Oh. Big moment. Oh yeah, it only has front brakes. Nothing. Drive? Nothing. I'm guessing needs more fluid. We'll be right back. Test 2. I put a couple more quarts in, so I'm confident. Okay. Firing. Couple of courtesy revs. Oh, reverse. Yes. We have forward gears. Oh, yeah, there we go. The shifter's not adjusted properly. Reverse is good. Oh! Drive is not good, but we put it into third is good, second, first. So we have some linkage issues. Pull her up. Okay. Oh. Well, there we go. I must say, if you're ever not motivated on a car, shine it up. Having a car that runs and drives, not only is it very motivational, it makes life easier because now you can exchange them for other junk that's in the driveway. That's coming up, don't worry about it. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you guys all enjoyed it. I know it was a bit of a weird video, but I had a great time. And sometimes, me and Danny were talking about it, I already feel the comments, get back to work, blah, blah, blah. I hear you, but you know what? When you do, I don't know how many 100 videos we've done, sometimes you just want to goof off a little bit. And Vice Grip allows us to do that, so I appreciate the hell out of him. Get the shine juice if you want a shiny hot rod. If you don't, I don't understand what you want. Comment below, subscribe below, all those things. Subscribe so I can afford more diesel fuel for the heat. See you on the next one.
Like you, I struggle with too many extension cords, floofy polishers, and heavy polishers. But I found a way around it. And the one person I trust most... Fuck, I fucked it already. I missed a line. Hold on. Yeah, fix this. Just give me a minute, Mr. Director. Like you, I too struggle with I too struggle.
Let's go ahead and start again there.
Tell me more.
Well, Danny, glad you asked. This Patina protecting paint detailer is a wipe-on, wipe-off finish, and it dries to a nice satin low glow. It's Derek's go-to for the last decade. Fuck.
I don't know what the fuck you said there.